Catch you later, Steve.
Catch ya.
Bring you a kangaroo later. They're tasty as well. Skip ahead 4 minutes if you don't want to hear this, by the way, if you're watching the replay.
We're just talking about the importance of Nick Cave. And for people who don't know who that is, you need to question your life choices up to this point. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, Nick Cave and the Birthday Party, way back in the day. I need people to know who this is. Like, come on. It's mandatory. You want to relieve yourself of trauma? Listen to Nick Cave.
Listen to Nick Cave. That's it. Listen to Nick Cave. That's it.
Done.
Oh,
That's today's talk, right, Mel Karin? Yes. Listen to Nick Cave and then go meditate, or meditate while listening to Nick Cave.
Listen mindfully to Nick Cave.
Do Tai Chi listening to Nick Cave. It really lends itself, I swear to you.
Cry listening to Nick Cave, smoke weed listening to Nick Cave, pleasure yourself, Nick. I mean, there's an endless amount of things.
You're not allowed to say that on live stream because it's illegal in the UK. You like liberal Americans, like.
So if you're living in a country that weed is allowed, or fly to a country where weed is allowed, and then you can do that.
Is that about weed or pleasuring?
I'm stunned. I'm just like, oh, what? You guys are supposed to be more advanced than us.
Predict Mel might generate some complaints, but we didn't realize Mel might generate some visit from the police.
There we go. A very nice person called Nick in the chat. Why not both? Clearly, we have the right people in the room. People, hello. Please feel free to rename yourselves and put your location in the world. And if you'd like to also type in the chat what you expect apart from music advice and other dodgy advice in this session, what brings you here and what you'd like to get out of it. What are you looking for?
I'm sorry. I already caused problems. I'm sorry.
Oh, now you sound British with this apologizing business.
Or Canadian. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, Steve is speaking Spanish, so you'll have to translate, Mel.
He is saying, why not both? He's trying to seduce me and all the other Latinas with his Spanish skills. Well done, Steve. It's working. It's working.
All right, we're 1 minute to go, so I would like to call everybody in order, and we will deliver semi-serious session. It is trauma after all, and we take trauma very seriously, and we make lots of jokes around it. That's how we take it seriously. It's a mechanism. We're doing it on purpose, just so you know. Right, Karen?
You're muted, Karen. I don't know how that happened.
Yes, you're right, Virginia. You are right. Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Hello to familiar faces.
I'll just say quickly as well, Mel is actually in the trauma course that Virginia will tell you about at the end. So Mel could even mention like something that she adds to it when you do that, because it's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for the shout out.
And we're on time. We're on time, people. And Steve was just saying how awesome the trauma course is, but more on that later. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to this session about a traumatized person's guide to sitting calmly with yourself, aka trauma and meditation. And we have with us none other than Melissa Gutierrez, the body witch. I get to do the intro this time. So Melissa's metal has been forged by childhood violence, toxic relationships, financial insecurity, and harmful, no, I disagree with that characterization, type A perfectionism, all right? She's now a coach, and she teaches others how to reclaim their power through movement and witchcraft. No animals are harmed whatsoever, just so you know. She's dedicated to helping people live their dreams and use the magic of their bodies to heal their wounds. And with her, we have Karen Karin van Manen. Sorry, Karin. She's an embodied meditation teacher, an all-around awesome human being. Karin's journey into embodiment allowed her to recognize and heal her own trauma. Embodied practices have given her tools for self-regulation, for healing, and for change. And she sees the world as beautiful and a tricky place. And her work is to help others experience themselves as empowered rather than victims. She's exceptionally wise and grounded, and she did not write this, but she is, I promise you. And I'm Virginia. I'm the lucky person who gets the chance to host this beautiful ladies. So please private message me if you have any questions regarding technical stuff or Zoom stuff. Thank you for being here, all of you. It means you have the all access pass, so or the free pass, so you've done the smart thing. If you're watching a replay, you can still purchase. There is still time. It won't be forever, but you can still purchase an all access pass to get into the Zoom room and to see unlimited sessions and to join the live Q&A with Patricia, our therapist, and with Roger Mills, another therapist. And they take place every day at 12 noon UK and 6 p.m. UK. So get a pass, come into those. You'll get loads of good questions answered. And also, remember to share this one. There is still time. Don't wait till next week when it's over and you tell your friends how good it was and they're like, well, I can't watch it now. Do share it with somebody who will thank you and get something valuable out of it. It is good work. It is valuable information, and it can really help transform people's lives. That's me being biased. Make sure you're resourced as ever for this session. If you've been binge watching all day, maybe you want to take a break from the screen, go for a walk. And if at any point you find yourselves like your breathing is affected or you're not feeling very well, get up, leave the screen, move, drink a drink of water. Maybe you want to make sure that you're in a confidential space where you won't be disturbed. Maybe you want to have headphones on. If children are around, maybe there might be some swearing or language for over 18-year-olds in this session. We do try to make it fun for you as well. So I'll shut up now and give the floor to Mel and Karin.
Hello,
Thank you.
everyone.
Hello. Yay. So I think Mel is going to guide a little meditation for us to get us settled in.
Yes, I am on extra good behavior because I am in the presence of Karin van Manen. So my best self wants to come forward and show you how good I can be at meditating. Are you ready? We're going to be super hardcore about it. So first of all, let's center, because we're going to be sitting with ourselves for a moment. And Virginia has already described that today's work is around trauma and meditation. So it can be really difficult and even a little torturous depending on what you have going on inside. So if you can sit in a way that you can feel your feet on the floor or just your bum in your chair and hands maybe on your thighs, just to get a sense of grounding, connecting to the earth. Pretend earth if you're in your apartment somewhere up high. Take a few breaths. And then you can get comfortable and try to sit in this stillness, in this silence. Let your mind get clear. Begin meditating now. Okay, let's try again. Oh, is that a squirrel? Is that a squirrel? I mean, okay, wait, let's try again. Let's try again. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Okay.
And did you fall asleep, Karin? Come on, come on, come on. We're meditating. We're meditating. All right, everybody, get it together.
I'm grounding.
All right, get your shit together. Let's do this.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing it.
God, I keep thinking about to-do list. Shit. Okay, hold on.
I know, I need my super spiritual meditation hat. That's gonna help.
Yeah, you don't look enlightened enough yet, Karin.
Oh, what's that? Oh, bloody hell, all my thoughts. My thoughts are falling down. This is not a good meditation.
What is happening, guys?
Breathe. Just sit and breathe.
Just do it.
Out so loud. Oh my God, I just can't do this.
I'm having a panic attack. I can't. I'm done. I need a walk.
Right, I can do this. I've got this. I've had all this training, all this special training from Tibetan Buddhist teachers and body yoga principles. I should be able to do this.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
All right, special mudra. Yes, that'll work. Shh, relax. Don't follow the thoughts.
Okay.
Drop them.
I can feel my heart rate starting to drop and get tired. Fucking squirrels.
Look, David Treleaven says we should be nice to the squirrels. No squirrels are harmed during the making of this session, by the way. We should stroke them, not judge them. They're just our thoughts and feelings.
Maybe they're even trying to tell me about what's getting in my way when I try to meditate.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually a slightly serious point. The squirrels, all those horrible feelings, the thoughts, be nice to them. It does help.
It's true. Okay. I think people got the gist. Yeah. Maybe we can come together for a moment, and I hope that was entertaining. And let's take a moment to actually breathe. Because Karin and I really wanted to put you in a place where you thought we were going to start meditating in the most serious way, in the most effective way, in the most militant way. And the pressure was on because Karin's here, right? And I'm like, shit, I got to get enlightened like now. Right? And for me, meditation has been difficult, like it is for many people, because I have had perceptions in my head about what it's supposed to look like, what I'm supposed to feel like during it, and you know, sometimes you just feel like you're too broken to do it. Has anybody here ever felt that way? Just too messed up or just too much going on? Not you, Karin. Karin too? Damn.
That's me too. Yeah, I remember when I first tried to meditate, I'd been reading all these cool books by Jack Kerouac, if everyone knows those, Dharma Bums and stuff like that. I thought, oh, this sounds really cool. I want to meditate. And I grew up in a small town in the Netherlands where my mum did yoga, 1970s yoga, wearing lycra. And I don't even know if they meditated, but there were no teachers around. And I found a little book in the library about the Hare Krishna. So I tried some chanting, and then I tried to meditate. And I had literally had all these thoughts and this misconception that I had to already be able to be still and have no thoughts. So I was like, well, that didn't work, you know. Only tried once for 2 minutes, I think. And it was indeed more relaxing to listen to records in the end and try some other naughty things when I was a student. And then I even started smoking, which I thought was quite calming. So I got back into it all when I decided, you know, I wanted a cleaner lifestyle, approaching 30. And that's when I started yoga again, or tried to do some meditation. And this time I did have a decent teacher. And yeah, I started to get much more into it and realized, you know, the squirrels and everything else were okay and I could work with it. And also helped me with several traumas and just generally stress and mental health stuff. And yeah, it took a while, but now it's like a bedrock of my life and my practices. And I also did take it very seriously for a while, I must admit. You know, one of my embodiment co-trainees when I first did a course with Mark said, yeah, you used to be a bit holier than thou. It was, you know, it was a bit annoying. You've changed. I was like, good. So yeah, but
so did you, may I ask a question, Karin, that is coming up for me, because it's really easy to look at someone like you, or maybe even people see me this way, and they think, wow, they can do it and they've always been able to do it, or like it must never be hard for them ever again. They hit a point. And I love when you were talking about how serious you were for a while, because I was approaching it that way too, from a very traditional yogic place. And it's like, well, if I didn't sit in a certain position, I wasn't doing it. It wasn't legitimate. And that really got in my way, you know, having those preconceptions. Did you get through that too in your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Tried to, you know, sort of sit in the lotus pose and then just being in agony after a few minutes. And still, you know, sometimes now not being able to sit still. Actually, you know, this week we've talked about, you know, watching too many of these sessions, getting a bit triggered with some of the stuff. I've actually found it quite hard to meditate this week. I found it harder to sit still. It's been better to go outside, go for a walk, sit in nature. They're all really good ways to practice mindfulness, which is maybe much more supportive if you're in a time of trauma coming up, or any time when there's a big life change, or you feel stressed, you've got loads going on, your mind's all over the place. Maybe it's the best meditation is to go and hug a tree, or I was talking to a friend yesterday, do the washing up very gently as if you're washing a baby, rather than rushing to get it done, if you still wash up by hand. But it's actually, there's a whole range of things that you can do instead of sitting still in some perfect way, possibly hurting your knees.
Well, what I hear you saying that I think is really important for people to know, especially when they're feeling maybe some emotional tumult, you know, going on, or overwhelm or stress in other ways, is that the idea of sitting in silence it's very far away. There is a path to walk from one state of being where maybe you start out really aggravated, and then to get to that place. And you're allowed to create that path for yourself. And for me, walking amongst the trees and hugging a tree instantly makes that much more available. It doesn't mean that it's immediate, like I'm going to sit in front of the tree, but there is a way to move towards it. You can't just go from one to the other. And I think that has to be acknowledged, that there's a pathway you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So when I look back over my old yoga journals, when I did my training, we were writing journals. You know, it's all about how I was going to be perfect. I was going to meditate for 30 minutes every day and stop drinking, you know, basically turn into this holier than thou, super spiritual being. And of course, I totally failed, you know, over and over again, and then berated myself. And then I came across some of the great work out there on self-compassion, self-care, which was much more like, yeah, accept all those parts of myself that are very distracting, and be much more, yeah, gentle and paced and forgiving for all those squirrels and bad habits, which then did, you know, gradually lose their grip on me. So I still enjoy a beer sometimes, you know. And
Stop
go,
it.
I do.
You're gonna
Stay up all night partying. I mean, it's harder these days because I'm 50 now. So it's maybe once a year. And I think, oh God, I'm too old for this. But it was like the grasping of the things I was using to subdue traumas and stress was lessening. So now there's much more choice. I'm like, oh, I could have that beer or I could not. It's a choice. If it's hot weather and I'm thirsty and I've just finished work, it might be nice, rather than compulsively doing anything, including meditation. So any perfectionists here that would berate themselves for not sitting every day, not, yeah. What about you, Melissa? What have been the things that helped you to get more into it in a way that works for you?
Something you mentioned right away, and I know you're going to be speaking about it more, and I'm excited for you too, is accepting that physical pain that shows up in my body is not always an indicator of spiritual or mental weakness. Maybe I just can't sit a certain way for a long period of time because my physical body may have an injury or its own trauma that has to be acknowledged. And instead of trying to turn it into another barrier or another method of internalized bad self-talk of like, oh, it's another reason I can't actually sit and meditate is because I'm not strong enough, and sitting for 20 minutes in lotus is breaking my knees. And then freeing myself of that perception and saying, maybe I want my knees when I'm older to be great. So I'm just gonna sit in a way that feels good. That's been helpful. And adding my own ritual, embracing the practice as my own, so that if I need to burn some herbs or light a candle or dance a little bit to kind of get the zoomies out of my body, then I can make it my own and prepare myself to transition to another state of being. So those practices have been helpful to getting into the actual meditation practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that could take different forms, like with yoga. And some schools of yoga do lots of postural practices and breathing practices first, and then you meditate. And that could be much easier for someone who's uncomfortable in their body. And also, if we kind of force ourselves to sit still, it might be forcing some kind of freeze response or suppression of stuff. And it takes some skill to determine, what's underneath it for you. So I always recommend having a skillful, preferably trauma-informed teacher, if that's where you're coming from. And also, who thinks I just can't do it? I'm too restless, or I have too many thoughts, like I did when I was 15. Put your hand up if you're here in Zoom and check in with yourself. And actually thinking, well, there's moments, probably natural moments, when you can sit still. Maybe you're engrossed in Netflix, or you're very tired, or you're having a massage. So we all have some superpower already, as we're talking about in trauma. We've got stuff that we're really good at already that we can maybe apply to meditation. So maybe for you it works to go running and then sit still for a while, or dancing, like Mel's saying. A bit of a ritual often helps. Sitting with other people. Myself and a few of the Embodiment Unlimited trainers had a meditation session last week, and all of us had at least 10 years experience, some more than 30. And it was somehow much easier to sit, even though it was on Zoom, sit still with other people. And we did some mindful movement. If there's pain in your physical body, it can be really great to focus on sounds or on areas of the body that feel pleasant. You're allowed to redirect your attention, even if you're doing a breath meditation and your breath starts to feel quite anxiety provoking, as if you've forgotten how to breathe. Then maybe take your awareness to your feet or bigger parts of your body, and then come back to the breath. We can also sort of calibrate, as we say, change the intensity or what we're doing and how we're doing it by doing shorter periods of time, walking meditation and standing. And if something is starting to feel a bit overwhelming or we get uptight, then it can seem bigger in our minds. And especially if you're quite new to meditation, sometimes just being more aware starts to make everything seem a bit worse, because maybe you weren't noticing those thoughts before. Maybe you weren't noticing your heartbeat feeling fast or your breath feeling weird.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily there's anything wrong. And sometimes just taking our attention out, away from that, to sounds or to something in nature until things seem to settle, and then coming back can be super useful. And also it can really make a difference what time of day you sit. First thing in the morning can be good before other stuff comes in, but also some people feel quite activated when they first wake up, especially if you suffer nightmares or something. So again, then it might not be the best time. Try different things, and there's a question in the chat. What if you get a panic attack and are alone in the woods? There's lots of tools, trauma sensitive tools that we offer on the course that can help you with things like panic. And a simple one is to press against something hard like a tree, feel your feet on the ground, press your hands together, slow down your breathing, say some kind reassuring words to yourself if you're able to. So that's a simple, quick one. Hug, squeezing your arms, squeezing your body. Yeah.
And what I hear Karin saying in so much of this, and it's still useful to me too, is that it's okay to give yourself permission to feel whatever is actually coming up for you and to decide what to do with it. Maybe redirect your focus, like Karin said, or if you're tired, if every time you go to meditate and you fall asleep, maybe you need a nap.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's the problem. And then you can be resourced enough physically, physiologically, neurologically to do that practice. And so I thank Karin for bringing that up, giving yourself permission to actually feel, as opposed to going, oh, I don't want that squirrel. Why is that squirrel coming up? It's telling you something.
And having a sense of humor about the squirrels as well. So that's kind of how we began. Sometimes humor is used in schools of meditation, like some of the Buddhist teachers I have are absolutely hilarious. And again, in the West particularly, we can take it all a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
Tends to not help so much. So shall we try a very short, a little bit more serious practice, just for a minute or so, to see how you are right now. So you were joking about the grounding thing, but it can help to really feel your feet on the ground. This is just a short one, so you might want to stay in your seat where you are. Feel free to stand up or lie down, or do some slow walking if that's much better for you. And maybe look away from the screen for a moment, unless you've got a very friendly face there that's resourceful to look at. Virginia's lovely face with her glasses. And then feeling the support from your seat, the ground, whatever you're resting on. Relaxing your body enough so that it's at ease, as much as you can, and maybe some pain you can't get rid of. that's the case, bring your attention to a part of your body that does feel okay. Doesn't have to feel great, you can just feel okay. If the body is a scary place right now, feel free to listen to some sounds around you. Maybe the humming of the fridge in your house, traffic. It doesn't have to be anything special. Something in the present moment that's reasonably neutral for you. Thoughts will come and go. Distractions will come and go. It's like my little squirrel. Just notice them. And they'll go away again. It's like, I don't know, 1.5 minutes guided meditation. And if you're super new to it, just a few minutes is actually quite a good idea. So a lot of mindfulness courses give homework of like 40 minutes meditation. But if we're starting to struggle and like think, oh, I'm so restless, I hate this, I can't do this, that's not very conducive to picking up a practice. So it's much better actually to meditate regularly for really short periods of time and to kind of sprinkle that mindfulness throughout your day rather than going straight into meditation boot camp. So yeah, coming back to the room, or continue to meditate if you want to. Maybe have a bit of a stretch.
Wow, that meditation went a lot better than the first one.
Yeah, it was maybe slightly more gentle in the attitude. So the attitude is really important, how we're doing it as well as what technique we're doing. So we've got some lots more talks coming up, obviously, about trauma and the trauma course, and also next year trauma-informed embodied meditation, where we go through all this stuff in much more depth. Excellent.
Thank you so much, both of you. If you'd like, those of you who are watching, if you'd like to type in the chat your main takeaway from this session, for the trainers to see, for you to really claim it, or you can type it in a private notebook, but it will help drive it home. Just a reminder that replays will be available, so you'll be getting an email when they are, with a link to them. And remember, you can still invite friends and family. Don't wait till last week when it's too late. In fact, everybody, can you give us a wave if you can think of one person that would benefit from hearing about trauma in this perspective? Yeah, think of one person that you can invite to this. And please go ahead and do that after this call. The links are there in the chat for the course. And in fact, let me quickly share my screen with what else is coming up today, because we've still got loads of good stuff to go, especially for those of you that are in the right time zone for it. Oh, and my screen doesn't really want to be shared. I hate it when Zoom does that. There we go. Now it will. So after this one, we have Ilan Stefani about creativity, Paul Linden from powerlessness to wholeness, Mark on how trauma is stopping you being the best leader you can be, Christina, and then loads of good stuff tomorrow and on Saturday as well. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but just to give you an idea, we also have the course, and we wanted to make it really accessible. If you want to heal your trauma, the bare essentials, it's a really accessible price. And then there's other packages as well about your superpowers, and of course one for facilitators if you're dealing with people and you want to know more. Link will be in the chat for that as well. With that said, thank you again everybody for coming, and we'll see you in the next ones, some of them. Thank you Karin and Mel, and thank you to the lovely squirrels. Love the squirrels.
Bye everybody. Thank you.
There we go. Do you want to have a look at, there were some questions popping up. I don't know if you want to do the thing where we stay on for a few minutes or you have to rush off to the next.
I'm okay till 2:45. Around there, if Karin has to go, she can go. I'm okay.
No, I'm okay, I think.
I'm interested in Nick's question about, and I want to know, Karin, what you think. I'm assuming, Nick, you mean, is there a specific meditation practice or tool for making friends to fix embodiment trauma? Is that what you mean in the context of this? And maybe, no, okay, maybe if it's easier, someone, I don't know if they can unmute and just ask if they're comfortable. Because
yeah, it could be abandonment. I think there's lots of approaches in meditation that could really work for lots of different types of trauma, self-resourcing really, and taking care of yourself in terms of how you address your inner talk. And a lot of it is kind of geared towards helping us to feel that we're enough no matter what. So there's lots of developing of self-compassion and self-love in trauma-sensitive mindfulness.
That's the first thing that comes up for me too, Karin, when you're talking about what, you know, and I'm reading Nick's question. Yes, making friends can be helpful, connection is helpful, but it's really about, oh, he's saying sort of, I was more referring to courses in the schedule, I see, to focus on. There isn't one specifically I know of about taking care of your abandonment, which we all have, I think, experience with. I know I do. Externally, trying to find friends, that can be helpful. Connection is very healthy. But to Karen's point right now, addressing the self-talk around it, how you talk to yourself around that issue, that if you're looking for external validation outside of yourself through others to heal that, it's not quite addressing that deeper issue. So I really go with what Karin was saying on that. Address the self-talk around it. Tell yourself that you are whole, regardless of what the background experience is, that you are a whole person. That makes sense. And Karin, I think that's what you were trying to say. That's what you were saying too.
Yeah, and there's lots of stuff in Kristin Neff's work on self-compassion, around common humanity, that we're not alone with these issues. And Ilan Stefani talks about that, like we can't always heal alone. So even coming to something like this and connecting can start to maybe help you to feel a bit more like you're not actually mentally alone, even if you're alone in a room. So that's Kristin Neff, you can Google. It's really good with that kind of stuff. There's another person. How can I invite someone to meditate who's had that bad experience? Yeah, I think it would be about finding the right teacher for them, which is a lot easier now. So much is available on Zoom. So recommend our course coming up potentially, David Treleaven, who's one of our guest trainers on a lot of our courses. He's got some great stuff out there. Trying it at home, short periods of time would be my advice. So hopefully they can get something positive, some new experience of, oh, actually I can do this way, it's okay. Maybe sharing this talk with them, if you can find a way to do that, like signing them up for the replay or something like that, might be reassuring.
And respecting your own threshold, you know, there doesn't have to be a prescribed amount of time for meditation or sitting every single day. Maybe some days you can do 10 minutes, maybe some days it's an hour, maybe one day it's 2 minutes. Something is better than nothing. Just respect yourself and what you can and can't do. I will be very transparent and say I have never in my life up until this point meditated for a full hour, so maybe I need to go to a Karin course. But that, you know, feels more of a challenge than it would be an immediate benefit. So there's ways that I always just touch base with that silence inside on a daily basis, even if it's not huge.
Yeah, and also maybe doing another mindful practice like Qigong, Tai Chi. That can be a great way in if people are a bit unsure or suspicious of meditation. So I often say that as well. You don't have to do this to get similar benefits. You can do another practice that is soothing, that slows you down a bit, that moves towards stillness, if not yoga or meditation. I think they were the main things, right, in the chat?
Yeah, looking through the chat now. Wow, everybody contributed so much today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm going to keep my squirrel.
I love your squirrel, actually. Thank you.
I have a garden right there beyond my laptop screen, and there is an actual squirrel living in it. So I regularly go, oh, there he is.
We have plenty of squirrels in New York City to distract you when you're trying to meditate under a tree, and they're not, I don't know what your squirrels are like, Karin, but ours are very aggressive. Shocker.
We've got grey ones. This is a red one. They're protected in the UK, and the grey ones are quite aggressive. They've stolen all the food from the red ones, apparently.
Oh, the squirrels here, they come up to you if you're like sitting quietly. They'll just be like,
yeah.
No?
I meant to say, actually, squirrel is also a sort of English American word for distraction. So I should have said that earlier for people who aren't.
We're not talking about actual squirrels coming at you.
Hopefully people got that. Hopefully people have seen the Disney movie Up. If not, you can check that out on YouTube. Squirrels in Disney movie Up, and then you'll know what I mean. It's quite funny. Excellent. So I think we can probably draw it to a close there. It feels like a natural squirrely end.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Karin.
And good luck with the rest of the week, and hope you find something useful, Nick, that helps you. And yeah, all the best to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.